One good kick and the Tigers have won the game. The Tigers 20 have beaten the Sharks 18.
West Tigers fans, let's relive it. It was 4 days ago, but we're still on a high, and we'll preview the game at Magic Ground against the Dragons. Welcome to another episode of West Tigers Life Podcast. West Tigers fans, welcome in to another episode of the West Tigers Life podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett. Please give us a follow at West Tigers Life on all the socials. They have been going off all week, especially our TikTok. We're on there now. Lots of haters, lots of lovers on there. A lot more lovers when we win. It's funny about that, how all the Parramatta fans have kind of all sunk away from our DMs and our comments, but nothing but a lot of love from West Tigers fans on the socials. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube as well. Welcome to all our regulars coming through on the YouTube stream. Righto, let's relive and shout out our Patreon members as well. Patreon.com/WestLife if you want to support the show. And yeah, we caught up on Sunday with a lot of our Patreon legends. So we'll see them again on Saturday night. We'll be here at the Orange Grove Hotel to watch, hopefully, another win. I'll go to my regular far right-hand winger in Mr. Thompson. How are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day, Josh. G'day, everyone watching and listening. I'm pretty good, mate. It's always nice to come and do the podcast after a win, especially a win like that one. We'll obviously talk a bit more about that later. But, yeah, I'm been on a bit of a high this week. We were saying off air that during the game, many times we had accepted our defeat. We had been moving through the 6 stages of grief and had accepted defeat many times, but to come away with a win, it was just one of those resilient wins. And looking forward to the show tonight.
And if anyone's wondering, no, Rob Bashara didn't halve in age because of the win on Sunday. He's off tonight, and subbing off the bench for his debut is Matty G from the Speak Free podcast. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited.
Yes, and we're obviously talking off air, reliving the game on Sunday. You showed me your video of you not only going nuts that you can find on your TikTok and all your socials. Yeah, you going nuts and then rolling down the hill because you lost your feet
on top of 2 boys. To those 2 boys, I do apologise. That was 110 kilos landing on their head, so I'm sorry about that. But hey, when you win, you go crazy, especially a win like that. So
I'll get Leichhardt of all places too.
Of course, the best place on earth, the 8th wonder.
Matty, to introduce yourself to the West Tigers fans, so give us a little bit of a history of what you do, social on the socials and with your podcast, and how did you become a Tigers fan as well?
Well, I'll go back. I'll start with the Tigers fan question. How did I become a Tigers fan? My dad grew up a West Magpies fan.
Yeah.
Grew up in Granville, so that was West Magpies area then when they played at Lidcombe. He grew up loving Tommy Rodonigus, and that was his idol, and he sort of drilled that into me. But all I've ever known is basically West Tigers as a joint venture. So I don't get too bogged down in the joint venture the foundation club talk. But Leichhardt is just as special to me, and Balmain is just as special to me as West Magpies is. So I've been following Tigers probably religiously from 2003.
Yep,
2003.
Just in time.
Yeah, just in time. Just in time for some glory and then years and years of heartache and misery.
Yep.
But I've stuck strong, and I've been a member for quite a number of years now, and come to every game, and I love it. Yeah. In terms of what I do, I started my podcast in I think 2021 from memory. It didn't start as a rugby league podcast, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it is a
Was
rugby
it
league
lockdown?
podcast.
Kind of something to do.
It was a
during
lockdown thing. I was
Yeah.
on the radio at the time, just a local radio station. They had a spare room. They turned into a podcast sort of studio.
Yeah.
So I took the opportunity, and I have a different guest on each week. If there's any sort of podcast to compare it to in terms of how it's run, would be something like what Mark Boris does or what Joe Rogan does, and to have a different guest on.
Talk about aliens.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. But I think this year I've really started to lean more into the rugby league content and show that side of me and that passion. And it's brought a lot of good things into my life. So yeah.
And you had obviously West Tigers tragic Lockie Pringle on recently.
I did, yeah. I had
Shouts,
the
Lockie.
Playing in Simple boys on. That episode just came out. So if you want to check that out, you can find it on Spotify, YouTube.
They've had me on.
Shameless plug.
I've been on the Playing in Simple podcast as well myself. Good stuff. Those guys.
Yeah, they're killing
as
it.
well. They're awesome. One big happy West Tigers podcast family.
100%.
So we're coming. Yeah, as the longer I do this show, we're talking off air, just how doing what we do, we come across. And now we obviously just through socials came across each other and say, hey, come jump on this podcast. The amount of people that you kind of come across in the West Tigers family. And it does feel like, because we're all West Tigers fans and we've all suffered through the same things. And it's funny when you come across it. I've only even known and then remember being a Tigers fan, so I don't know if other fan bases get the same thing. But when you find, and this is why I always wear a Tigers hat or a Tigers shirt, because, like, for example, I go to started going to a new gym near my work, and I wear a Tigers singlet or something to the gym, and the guy at the counter is a massive Tigers fan, and literally I stand at the top of the stairs with him saying, this, that, and it's just a weird magnetism,
isn't it?
Yeah, we're Tigers fans, and I'm sure everyone that watches our show is just the same because they're passionate.
100%. And also that's why somewhere like Leichhardt is so special, because it's like, look, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to talk rubbish about Campbelltown, but it lacks the soul that Leichhardt has, and the reason for that is the big hill. You're standing arm in arm, you're dancing with each other, you're hugging each other, you don't know each other,
Yeah.
Every try, every moment, you ride that moment together. And I think that's what makes not only Leichhardt so special, but the West Tigers fan base so special, is that we really do live and breathe it together as a group. And I think that's super important for any sort of team to feel that love from their fan base.
And that's not necessarily, I don't think, a Balmain thing, because Balmain and West, obviously, like, you're obviously a Magpie background, as you said, through your dad. Like, it's 25 years ago, was never neither West nor Balmain. If you're what, 27, so you would never remember Balmain. So every single person under the age of, I would say, 30.
Yeah.
We're just
really
West Tigers fans. We don't know
100%.
anything different. So all the infight, and we love Campbelltown too. We love heading out there. We go to every home game there too. I think Campbelltown can be, with a bit of success, in 2005. I don't know, you're a decade younger than me. You might not remember, but even back then, like, when we're going well on the good runs, Campbelltown does get that bit of Leichhardtness about it. It's just, just keep getting bad time slots and that sort of thing. I think Campbelltown can get there. It's just, I don't know, it seems that people prioritize going to Leichhardt a little bit more. And it would be interesting to know if Leichhardt did get, look, if we did 6 games of Leichhardt a year, does reducing the games there make it more special? Like,
I think it does.
Like, do people go, there's only 3
like, I think
a year?
Yeah, I think it sucks that we do only get that many. I can completely understand why the club does it. Obviously, the club needs to make money as well. But I think by reducing it, it does actually make going there more special. It makes it more of an event. And I think you felt that, like, right from the get-go on Sunday, coming here before the game, I was like, I've never not been able to get into the to the Grove straight away. I had to wait at the door, and there was Cronulla fans in there. I'm like, bro, just kick them out. Like, just let me in instead. Come on. Like,
because a lot of people do romanticize, obviously a lot of older people romanticize the Balmain. And I am old enough to have gone to multiple Balmain games at Leichhardt as a child. And I can tell you, not many, apart from the last game against Parramatta in '99. A lot of night games, there's not a lot of people were going. Obviously, Balmain and Magpies they weren't very competitive with the big teams back then. But there were a lot of nights that my dad or my uncle would take me to Leichhardt, and it felt like a New South Wales Cup game. Like, it was pretty dire. So I think people would really need to appreciate the West Tigers family and the games like on Sunday. Like, it's better than what any Balmain or West fan can. We've all come together, man, and a result like that we're a bit. You're on the hill, us speaking in our row C, Latcham Robinson, Bay 3 seats overlooking these guys on the hill.
The glory of the hill.
Good part from where you saw.
Mate, I took photo. Like,
looked fantastic.
especially with the Anzac ceremony.
Was there part of you
I
that
took a
wish you were
photo.
on the hill?
No, I was wearing my good shoes. I don't really want to get them too muddy, but no, I do. Look, I did the hill many years. It's definitely when it's cold. I do like my premium seat, but a Sunday afternoon when it's nice and sunny, like at 2 p.m, it is nothing. But I do like being able to see every corner of. I can you do get a much when you're on the hill. You do miss a lot,
especially when it's packed like that.
Yeah.
We couldn't see the whole probably a good 7 meters of that side, just because everyone stands up. But I love that. You know, I find that just that's part of it for me. And what I love is I don't know when we started it, but the whole scoreboard, and then the cheer, like when they're changing the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I know when we started, I'm pretty sure the first time I saw that happen was when we flogged the Cowboys here a couple of years ago. And it's sort of stuck since then. It's become another little tradition of ours. And, it's just little things like that I don't know, like it makes me so happy.
It's the vibe.
It is vibe. But
I'll show you off.
Sorry to cut you off. Just one thing about Campbelltown. I will say people are turning up for Campbelltown. We had multiple sold out games last year too, even when we weren't going bad. So I don't want anyone to take that as me having any hate towards Campbelltown. And I think it would have been a lot different this year if we had won those couple really close games against Warriors and Newcastle. I think it would have been a different vibe I've walked out of there with. I think it's just depressing when you lose those and then you sort of had that long walk.
South that we beat?
Was South and Canberra.
Yeah, the forward pass. Yeah, so the wins there. And then you got obviously next door to go have a drink. It's not quite the Orange Grove Hotel, but it is a good place to have a day out or a night out at the footy. So we do love Campbelltown.
And I hope they do it up just the same way they're doing up Leichhardt.
Whereas Combank, Rob said it, he was pretty passionately saying that, like you said, we get that Richo made $1 million for but the contrast of being at Easter Monday, full crowd, but it was like 50% para fans. To go to Leichhardt a week later, whereas there seemed like there was a fair amount of Sharks, bit of blue across the hill, but would say 95% black, orange, 100%. And white. Like it's chalk and cheese. It was unreal. What a night.
Yeah, what a night. The best. I'm still on a high from it, honestly.
Yeah. The amount of people that of Tigers fans that I've spent this week just reminiscing with, and we're lucky enough that we get to do it again. But firstly, before we get into the rest of the show, please support if you're looking to buy a house or a car or renew your mortgage. Jason at iChoice, he is awesome. Also a big West Tigers fan, former sponsor. Mates of Junior Pierce as well. I've since learned as well. So iChoice, they're in Strathfield, 9743-0000. Give Jason a call if you're looking to buy a car, refinance your home. He is an absolute legend and a big supporter of our show. And we thank you, Jason, over at iChoice. Righto, as the big news this week that you're obviously very aware of, the one and only Kezie Apps, who we had. So unfortunately, you might be the second best guest we've had the last 2 weeks, because we had Kezie Apps sitting right there.
I'll take that.
Kezie can have the number sitting right there. We spoke to her last week, and little did we know we've got a slot locked in till 2029. How good?
Yeah, so good. She talked really passionately about how passionate the fans were and how much she enjoyed that, especially around the 2022 Harvey Norman Women's Grand Final out at Campbelltown. And Rob's obviously very passionate about that as well. But yeah, this signing, I remember seeing the teaser early on in the day on the club's Instagram. They were teasing an app update and then changed it to apps update very briefly, which I thought was a clever bit of marketing. And I started to speculate in the Discord what that could be. My first instinct was a re-signing. I didn't expect 4 years though. But yeah, really amazing signing to get. Obviously good to have stability at the club moving forward, especially we're still basically in our formative years of the NRLW competition. And
So
to
the
have
NRL team.
Yeah, and to have a player like Kezie who's got all the experience she does playing for clubs, playing for state, playing for country,
Yep.
all that experience, all the leadership she's brought to the team as well.
Yep.
I think it's an absolutely huge get for the club.
It's almost Jerome, same thing Jerome does.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I do hear a few people complaining or concerned about her age and how old she'll be at the end of this contract.
She's still one of the best forwards of the
Absolutely.
world.
She's fit as a fiddle, takes very good care of her body.
Yeah.
Continues to put out absolutely insane output in the game, both at all three levels, really. Yeah. And yeah, she'll still be going strong at the end of this 4-year deal.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're very excited that Kezie's staying for what is it? So we got it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Was that 5 years?
4 years because she's contracted this year, and it's 4 years, four more years. Yeah,
4 + 1 = 5. Righto. If you did miss it on Sunday night, we recorded here. Couldn't believe how many people were still. Well, I can because what a night Sunday night was. You were here, Matty, before the game, the OG, but after the game, I would
have loved to come after. I was with my little cousin. He's only 16, so I thought we better get him home. But yeah,
why the Tiger played 3 times on rotation.
I did see that on I forget whose story it was. Maybe it was yours.
It was ours. Yeah. I put it up unless someone else posted it.
God, it gave me.
Pumping.
I was having major FOMO. I was angry with myself that I wasn't there. But
so we did chat to Adele. Adele was down for the Leichhardt game, so we recorded the Coach's Corner. If you haven't heard it yet, Adele joined us here. Despite by the time we went to air, there was still like a good 30, 40 West Tigers fans in here pumping away, dancing away, because what a game. So you can join us again on Saturday evening. We'll preview the Dragons game later, but we will be in that spot over there in front of the TV. We'll live stream it as well, our reactions. I think we haven't lost, touch wood. We've won, Broncos. We're at 3-1 for our...
We're 3-2 at Magic Round.
3-2 in terms of watch-alongs.
Oh, you're talking about watch-alongs.
Watch-alongs,
I thought you were talking about games at Magic
I think we're
Round.
3 out of 4, aren't we? 2 out of 3.
Beat Eels, beat Dolphins.
Lost the Broncos.
Beat Knights.
So 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. As Meatloaf
Pretty good record.
So yeah, come join us hopefully for another win at the Orange Grove, because this place will be pumping with West Tigers fans. We'll go live to react live as well. So if you can't get down here, check us out on the YouTubes, but can't wait for that one. We'll preview that game soon. But let's relive the win over the Sharks just a little bit more. 20-18 victory. As you said, we kind of succumbed to our death early, but the majority of the game, the West Tigers did feel like they were on top of this one, though, I feel.
Yeah, except for really the back end of the first half where Cronulla scored that fluky sort of try. I did feel like for the most part we were on top of the game. But after they scored that, I was a little bit concerned going into the second half, because I agree with Rob when he said he thought the Breeze was worth about 12 points. Going in 10-0 up wouldn't have been too bad, but we had a lot of ball or a lot of opportunities with ball down their end of the field in the mid stages of that first half, and we just couldn't capitalize and turn any of it into points. And I thought that was going to come back and bite us on the ass. And then to concede that try right on full time, right on half time, and then to be going into half time 4 up instead of 10 up with the wind advantage in that first half, I felt was really concerning. But for the second half, the team were really gritty, really determined. They obviously had Britton Nickera sin binned, and we scored all 8 of our second half points during that 10 minutes. They obviously got the game back to level pegging while Fanua was in the sin bin. And yeah, from there, it was a bit of a grind. And we had sort of accepted our defeat at that time because they obviously had the breeze. They had the better chance of kicking the field goal from their position because no team could really break through for anything more than that 1 or 2 points.
Yep.
And from there, the grit and determination in defense that the team showed, the 1%ers, the charge downs, just everything they did to try and keep themselves in the game. Absolute credit to Benji and the club for hanging in there and just getting the game to go the distance. We won the coin toss at the start of Golden Point, and I was like, yes, we're running into the wind, or running with the wind, I should say. Got a really good opportunity there, and yeah, we couldn't quite ice it. And then once again, going into the second half of Golden Point, we got back into that. We can taste our defeat again now because they've got the advantage. Because like you saw Nico kick that, or nearly kick that 47-meter 2-pointer, and that would have put them ahead with obviously by a margin that probably would have been unassailable by us, even with 2 or so minutes left, and the breeze and the way it was playing havoc. So if he can almost nail that 47-meter 2-pointer with the breeze behind his back, if he had gotten down to within 20 or 30, they would have had a really good opportunity. But yeah, once again, the team just kept on showing up defensively. Another massive charge down, and then the penalty right in front for the 2-on-1 strip to ice the game and send us home winners. We were all a little bit concerned. I think Adam was a little bit concerned too, considering how long he took to set that one up.
Oh, I think it was just kind of...
It wasn't as straightforward as it looked, especially with that breeze. And Rob mentioned it on Sunday night. He did not nail it perfectly. Down the it wasn't straight down the guts. It was a little bit sketchy. So
who cares?
Who cares? He got it. It went through. That was the 2 points for the...
It added to it too, him waiting so long,
Yeah, because
of suspense. I was like, oh, God, I was...
I think the ball fell off the tee a couple times too, didn't it?
It was
that
was
wind
almost
was strong too.
Yeah.
That wind was really, really strong. So I know it was only 28 out, 27 out, something like that.
Not even. I think it was like 17, 18. It was I'm pretty sure it was inside the 20.
Beyond the 20.
It was 20, 22, 25.
It
wasn't that far out from the 20, I don't think.
Not too far out, but with that breeze, it's like, you saw what happened with a lot of Galvin's kicks. They sort of went up and floated back, and I thought, oh, God, let's hope he just boots this.
Yeah.
And, waited with bated breath, and, what a moment, that's a suspense, and then that just relief and release from the crowd. It was just so epic.
Yeah,
the crowd celebrated after the penalty was awarded because we're like, yes, this is the moment. But we were still nervous. We were all probably still quietly shitting ourselves and getting a little bit nervous and just waiting to see how it played out. But at the very least, from that distance, we had the advantage of knowing, hey, if he doesn't manage to kick this, if he does miss it,
there was only a minute left.
It'll go dead. So there's going to be a 20-meter dropout, and it's a matter of can we get the ball back from that 20-meter dropout and get back in range. But he nailed it. Thank God for that.
Thank God.
We get the win. We go into Magic round 4 and 4.
Yeah,
it's a good point. Brendan said on Facebook, maybe that's why he did take. He deliberately took his time to rule out So maybe taking longer, it did kind of rule out that the Sharks would get the ball back.
Yeah, minimize their time with possession afterwards, just in case he was to miss it. I think that
makes sense.
If that's right, that is the smart way to play it. So we made the right decision there.
Well, Manny,
the wind helped him out, knocking the ball off the tee a couple of times too.
Yeah. Going back to the game, well before that, watching it from the hill. Yeah, how did you feel the arm wrestle of the game was going?
Look, I thought we were the better team all game. Let's. I don't want to shit can the referees too much, but
no, we do that plenty.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, well, I think the bunker decision to sin bin Polly was the worst, one of the worst sin bins I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yep.
There's no wonder Andrew Johns walked out of the commentary box. And,
dropped his mic apparently.
Yeah,
apparently just sat there with his mic.
He's like, enough's enough, their sin bin against the high hit on Jerome is completely fair enough. Jerome had to leave the field for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
he had to have his do the HIA. When Jerome's off that field, we struggle. You know, like, and it's not that we struggle completely, but he makes such a difference, and it might not even be his skill, but the attitude he brings. And you saw the attitude click as soon as he came back on. The attitude was just, it was there again. You know, everyone lifted. And I think Jerome, you know, if there's anything that 1.2 million a year is worth, is that winning mentality that he brings. Sure. And I think it was so obvious on Sunday. But yeah, I thought other than that, I thought we actually controlled the game quite well. I think our forwards really, really lifted, and we needed them to for a game like that, especially against Cronulla, who, you know,
massive pack.
They seem to be able to grind you down and wear you out. And they do that to quite a few teams. And
they almost did it to us.
Yeah, 100%. And I think
you could argue they did.
When you have someone like Terrell May, you know, like what a weapon.
Punching out 84 out of 88 minutes. Insane.
And getting the shits with Benji when Benji takes him off. You know, that's what I love to hear.
Maybe that's why I was only off for 4 minutes, because Benji was scared to keep him off for too much longer. He was going to be throwing hands.
You know, what a difference he's made to our side. You know, I think for so many years we've really missed a really go forward pack that just takes you forward, gives your halves that room to be a little bit more creative, to give it to your outside backs, to come off those big meters pushing forward. To give yourself that space with a quick play the ball, and that's what we saw on the weekend, and it's what we've seen sort of all year. For those, you know, more creative tries have come off the back of really hard work from the forwards, and I think we definitely saw that again on Sunday, and it's a huge reason why we won.
Just pull up a comment here. Clint says, eldest son Will's watching his first episode of West Tigers Life. There you go. Good on you, Will. Hope you're enjoying it. I think it was Swan. Yeah, I'm assuming Will's
I did
quite
just
young. I don't think we have
apologies for that.
We're trying to be, but in recent years we've been known to drop a little too many swear words. We're trying to
curb it back a little bit. I should do the same on my podcast. I think I've probably got the world record for most C words said in an hour. But that's all right.
Yeah, maybe on a live stream we've might have said that about a.
I think that particular word is the one we try to avoid.
Yeah.
The others,
big no.
The Fs and the S's, we drop a few of those during the game watch-alongs.
You have to, but that's
passion.
That's culture, you know.
Culture. Righto, let's go on to some press conference clips from Benji and Jerome. Let's start with this one.
I thought he was great. Just went out and played footy, what he's always done, you know. And from that first try that he set up, that sort of calmed the nerves and got everyone into the game and just focus on footy. And we had a good chat before the game about a few things, and I thought he did all the things we talked about.
He's had stuff with you guys. You're looking forward to playing with him the rest of the year, like.
Yeah, 100%. One time I said that I don't like to play with him. I love playing with the kid. I love what he brings to our team. I love this club and I love this team. And I think we all showed that, you know, we love this jersey as well. Proud of the boys, and hopefully this builds on throughout the year.
How did you find the reception out there?
I loved it, man. It's my first grade game here. Just to look up at the hill was pretty daunting because, you know, I guess I'd be used to being against it. But, you know, they were with us and they were behind us all the way and they gave us energy tonight. So they got us home.
Yep. Thought he was great. Just went out and played.
So a couple of things in there. So obviously talking about Lachlan Galvin at the start there. It's funny, like this is probably the first week that we haven't really mentioned Lachlan Galvin at the start of the show, been the news and that sort of thing. Obviously,
amazing what a win does, eh?
Yeah, what a win
100%
sort of does. But obviously, yeah, if we had lost that game, we probably would be, like the media would have been hammering us. But Lockie did come out and it seemed like that they did put it kind of behind him. Like, did you notice, being as close as you were to the action, did you kind of take notice, Matty, of Lockie's body language and how the players were kind of reacting?
I was at the top of the hill, so I didn't take too much notice of Lockie. But what I will say about the fans, that was quite surprising to me. I made a bit of an impassioned play on a couple West Tigers group pages. And look, don't get me wrong, I was hard on Lockie when all the shit started, right? Just as we all were. We were all disappointed. Yep. We all had a lot of emotion and we were all saying some shit. And I think once Benji named him again after the loss to Para, and it was quite clear he would add so much to our team, you know, to have him in there. And I think it was a no-brainer.
Yep.
I did make a bit of an impassioned plea of like, you know, at the end of the day, if we're really a team first club and we're team first fans, that we put all that aside and we cheer him the same way we cheer any other player wearing our colours, you know. And I must say it was pleasantly surprising for a Leichhardt crowd of that size that when he got named, you know, in the starting lineup from the announcer, there really wasn't much of a boo. There was a little bit. I heard it a little bit, but not to the level I thought there was. And then, you know, it only took all of 8 minutes for Lockie to get everyone back on his side.
Yeah, the beautiful,
with a beautiful try assist, you know. So I think it was the perfect opener for Galvin to really put that behind him and for the club to put that behind them and to move on as a team. And like you said, what a change a win can do. And even if there were little problems in that dressing room, I tell you what, the easiest way to fix that is to have a good win and to celebrate together and to drink beer in that locker room and to sing your team song. And that's obviously what they've done. And I really think that saga is behind us and we can just now focus on playing footy. Hopefully Lockie helps us get to the finals. And then, you know, at the end of 2026, we wish him well if he does move on.
Randomizer Inc. on the comments, he says, quite bittersweet watch us win with Galvin. I don't think it was bittersweet at all.
And if anything,
anything,
got him for 18 months, guys. Like,
yeah, well, possibly. But the thing is, could Lachlan Galvin, look, he's obviously grown up a Parramatta fan and doesn't have the emotional, nor that I think really going players that will be close to how emotionally attached to the club itself would probably be arguably maybe Twally and Adam, maybe are kind of the ones that really have been entrenched with the club to the point that they would be emotionally attached to how successful the club would be. Yeah. Jerome's really bought in, but at the end of the day, it's his second club, that sort of thing. He's gone through the highest of highs with the Panthers, but yeah, that's true. Yeah. Twally is a Parrot. Yeah, good point. Parrot is a Parrot junior Twally, but maybe not. Maybe not. You got to kind of remove yourself that these players would not, in terms of the jersey winning a comp, they're not going to be on the level that we are as West Tigers. Yeah. Long time, passionate fans. At the end of the day, it's a job, and the club's also likely to drop or get them out of the club as they are to play for them. So so Lachlan Galvin might not have the same feelings of Leichhardt over on what we've been talking about, that as Tigers fans and that sort of thing. He doesn't have that. He didn't grow up a Tigers fan. But I don't know, something in him, possibly like seeing that crowd, the cheering, and like a win like that we did. Would any thought have gone through his brain and think, hey, this is pretty awesome. Like, you're not going to get this. You can go to your soulless Parramatta Stadium and you might get a win or something there. But there's got to be something. At the end of the day, he's human. He's only in his second year. I mean, he was a part of last year as well, and we got a good win at Leichhardt Oval, and he's experienced it a little bit already. But I don't know, is there something in his heart that just thought, this is pretty awesome? It has to have.
I think so. I think, look, I don't know if it's enough to change his mind, especially after the media storm that came with everything. I think he's really happy to just put that behind him. I think that's half of probably his happiness that he showed. But I don't think you can fake pure, I guess, admiration for a crowd. It's a very hard thing to fake. And I watched his on-field interview after the game, and he was just full of love for that crowd and how they got behind the Tigers and spurred them on to that famous victory on Sunday. Is it enough to change his mind? I don't think so. A reason I say that is because I saw him also waited with my cousin outside Leichhardt, and so we could meet a few players, and he was very quick at getting out of there. Didn't have much time for the fans.
I kind of understand that, because he's probably was. I mean, he had security guards with him at Lidcombe last week, so
Yeah.
I assume there'd still be that little. I mean, people will probably.
Well, exactly.
It just
There's
takes one.
Also, there's
lying
crazy
to
people.
happen.
There's crazy people everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So you can't. Yeah, you can never be too safe.
Yeah.
I
don't begrudge him for that.
But yeah, and in saying that, he still stopped. It's not like he took photos with no fans. He still stopped and took photos with quite a few. But it was definitely a quick moving. But in saying that, Jerome did the same thing. Remember, this game went 10 minutes overtime. The boys want to get home. They're all sore.
Yeah.
They're all buggered. So.
6-day turnaround for the next game.
We got Call of Duty or whatever. Terrell May.
Yeah, he had to go home and
play
stream.
Call of Duty.
No.
What does he play?
I'm not sure what he actually.
Not
plays.
sure what he streams.
Fortnite. Is
Yeah.
Call of Duty? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't play those games. Let's go to
Jersey? Yeah, 100%. And at the end of the day, the player picks himself. I definitely think he's put himself in a great position to play Origin footy. But he wants to just do a great job for this Tigers team and this Tigers jersey.
Jersey?
Yeah.
So Jerome talking obviously about Terrell May there, as he has to be one of the first picks for Origin.
Oh, absolutely.
At least in the bench spot.
He's the most informed front rower in the competition at the moment. The amount of minutes he gets through, the amount of work he does, tackle efficiency, all the 1%ers, all the key things you need to be a really good player in that Origin arena. He's nailing it week after week after week, alongside Payne Haas if he is starting. That's a dangerous front row pairing, but yeah, at the very least, he should be selected off the bench. I'd be really stoked for him. I think he deserves it. He's absolutely killing it this year. And if Laurie Daly doesn't select him, then Laurie Daly's got rocks in his head.
Agree wholeheartedly. I would have him starting for sure. I think the good thing about Terrell is that he proves he can play, 80 minutes. Well, he can play 84.
I don't want him to at Origin.
No,
right?
I mean, I don't think he will. But what is good about that is it allows you to bring on a little bit more of a utility that can play more in the backs. You don't need to stock your whole bench with front rowers and big bodied second rowers. So it allows a little bit more freedom to have someone that can play those sort of minutes that you don't need as much rotation in the forward pack. And then if anyone does go down injured, say what happened a couple of years ago when who got injured? Is it Tedesco went down and we didn't have a fullback really? Is that what happened? Game 3 a few years ago.
God, even
I think it was the COVID year where they played it at the end of the year.
Oh, you're talking the far
2020.
back.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. I forget how many years.
Yeah.
It's all a blur.
A few.
Gutherson might have been playing.
Appy, I think, should be selected as well. And there'd be obviously a bit of a combination there between the two of them. I think while Robson did a good job under Madge last year, I think Appy is much more of a Laurie Daly type of hooker, the sort of hooker he'd be looking for. So if the two of them get selected, they've got a good little partnership there and good to take that to the arena. Obviously, Appy will have a bit of a connection with Cleary if he's selected as well, which is the assumption. Jerome will be stiff to miss out, especially because Mitch Moses has only played one game back so far. Set the world on fire as he always tends to do, particularly against us.
Still though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go an outside halves pick. Some people are saying it, but it would be a shock to most people if Cleary was dropped. But I think I would have Moses and Jerome Luai as my halves.
Yeah, well, they won game 3 last year. They won us the series last year.
They're the current, if we're going on current incumbents, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Cleary was injured, but they prove they play well together. They
You want that to happen,
together.
or you think that'll happen?
I want that to happen.
Big call. I don't think it'll happen. There's no way they're not picking Cleary.
But in saying that, well, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You guys aren't old
I'm
enough.
also excited for that because you've got a great reunion. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like Cleary and Luai back playing together. You can't deny Jerome's love for his Penrith brothers, and I think that's something that makes him so lovable as well. Is that he doesn't forget where he's come from. I know he's moved clubs, but all the love is still the same there. And I think it'll be great for him to play with a few of the Panthers boys if he does get chosen. So
I'd be wondering how many of the Panthers boys are going to get selected this year, considering their rough start to the season. You'd imagine Cleary, Yo, and Edwards would probably be 3. To'o, if he's back from his injury, may get picked as well. But just on the Luai and Cleary partnership, if they were to go down that path, how funny would that all be? Because obviously Origin 1 is after round 13. We have a bye that week, but the Origin players don't play that week. Round 14 is our first match against the Panthers. So they'd be playing in the same team as each other as the same halves pair. And then, 4 days later.
And the Panthers don't have the luxury this year they're not going to have the luxury of resting guys this year.
No, they're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, they got to catch up.
You look at their position at the moment. They're last. They're the only team that has 4 points. Well, they're not the only team with just 2 wins, but they are 2 and 6, which means they have the most losses. And considering how close the competition is this year, you may need 13 wins to play Origin, which means they could really only afford 5 more losses across the rest of the season, and that's not a lot of breathing room, especially when this Origin period still has the potential to hurt them badly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a long period, you know. A lot of games to be played. I'm not sure what their bye is looking like. Their bye sort of schedule is looking like for Origin period, the Panthers.
That's right. Az knows it off.
You know,
I know the Tigers. I could look up the Panthers and take it.
We'll be lucky, right? We've got the first 2 games.
First 2 major bye rounds.
Weeks,
which is great for us because we actually have some Origin.
Yeah, players. It's more, we're not used to this.
I know,
except for the Robbie Tedesco and Woodsy
era.
Which didn't last long. But
no, I think Tedesco made his debut the year he left us, right?
I think
2017, game 3. And then signed with the Roosters, and then became the fullback for a long time.
Panthers are actually fairly lucky around Origin as well. So they've got a bye in round 11, which is a couple of weeks away. Game 1 teams are selected at the end of round 12. They have their other 2 byes in the other 2 major bye rounds, which are 15 and 18. So they're fairly lucky as well. Backing up from Origin, they play us after game 1. They play the Warriors in New Zealand after game 2, and they play the Eels after game 3. So their Origin period isn't too challenging in that regard. Obviously depends on if other players from other teams that they're playing get rested after Origin. You imagine if we have Terrell and Appy playing, I have a feeling both of them could potentially be rested maybe later in the season.
I don't think they'll pick Appy.
Yeah, I'm unsure of that too.
I think Appy's done with Origin. I think they'll go for the future.
I'd also like to just...
Well, Queensland are going to go with Cherry Evans most likely because he's made himself available, and Appy's younger than that, so you never know.
That's true. I just want to correct myself too. Tedesco, debuted in Origin 2016. I remember
2 years as a Tiger.
I was living in Wollongong at the time, and I watched that at North Gong Pub. So,
oh yeah, shouts.
Memory came.
All right, let's go to the next clip of the press conference.
Well, to be honest, we make him kick goals under pressure at training every week. We stop the session and put the pressure on him. The boys always get into him about, Reno, are you clutch? And all those moments probably added up to tonight. And I'm just glad it went over. But he's earned that opportunity through hard work and practice. That wasn't fluke.
Yeah, so obviously, Benji talking about AD kicking under pressure there. We've kind of hit on it already. But, yeah, I mean, Adam, we're talking about needing a full-time goal kicker this year. What percentage is he kicking at this year?
Keep talking while I look it up.
Okay. How have you found Adam as a goal kicker? Look, he's not quite your Nathan Clearers, your Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, I thought he started
especially the right side. I feel like, I don't know if we have a left-footed kicker, but I feel like he hooks it so much as a right footer that if he's kicking from the right sideline, he's almost zero chance to get it in. Talon De Silva nailed one at Campbelltown the other week.
Absolutely nailed that kick.
Well.
Like that was probably the hardest conversion of the entire season, and he absolutely sloshed it.
Yeah, nailed it. I thought he started the year really well, Dewey. And then obviously he had the groin injury.
Before the Broncos game, he was at 88%. So across those first 4 weeks, he was at 88% of all the ones that he took, which was really, really good.
Really, really good. And then was the Broncos, which game was it that he had the groin injury? Warriors game.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, it sort of dropped off a little bit. So
yeah.
It could just be an injury thing. He doesn't want to push it as hard. That's what I'm thinking.
He's at 71% now.
71%. So yeah, it's quite a big drop.
Not good. And we've scored so much through like our outside back. So he is getting a lot of...
Yeah, like Taruva is right up there for leading tries. I think he's second on the tries list for the season with like 7 or something like that now. So he's scoring a lot of the tries out wide. Obviously, does make it harder for your kickers, and we found that out the hard way in at Suncorp against the Broncos.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's having a much more successful season overall so far this year than in some previous years. We can all remember we've had some kickers a la Esan Masters. I remember there was one game against Penrith where he missed every single conversion that night, and we ended up losing the game in Golden Point. So, I mean, with
that one, I think
I was there too. So we've had some awful goal kickers over our time. Wakeham last year wasn't doing too terrible a job most weeks.
Didn't Cleary hit the post to win it?
Possibly, maybe.
Yeah.
He won it with a field goal in Golden Point.
Yeah, I think he missed a conversion.
We also don't have a good Golden Point record.
Yeah.
That was the first time we versed them since Cleary Ivan left us.
Was it? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I walked out of there with the shits. I've never walked out of there quicker in my life.
And then later that season was the infamous blowing kisses to Tigers fans at CommBank.
Yes. And I remember that game. Cleary kicked it, actually nailed it from the sideline, and then won by a field goal, I think.
Maybe it was us. I feel like we had one hit the post. Maybe. I remember hitting a post. Maybe we were getting mixed up last week.
I mean, when games go to Golden Point for us, we're always shit scared because we know our record is crap. I think Fox had it on the screen during the game. Our record going into this was like 5 wins and 15 losses from 20 appearances in Golden Point. So that and I think if I'm not mistaken, it's the worst Golden Point record for any club.
Right. And was it our first win in Golden Point since 2016?
Did we win one in 2016 in Golden Point? Oh, 2019. Yeah, that's right. Thanks,
2019.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah.
So in 6
up in Townsville too.
That was the stat in 6 years, and only our third since 2012. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
we've just not had a good
crazy.
During Golden Point. We've just not had a good
15 and that was only our 6th win ever, wasn't it?
We're 6 out of 21 now. Yeah,
yeah, which is great because we're on the Golden Point. I'm like, we don't win Golden Point.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable. All right,
times are changing at our
times are changing. We've got to. Who was it? We need to burn some. What's the stuff that you get rid of curses? Sage in a burn. I can't remember who said it when we were here a few weeks ago. It might have been Shane. Shane Cole was saying we need to burn some sage to kind of get rid of that mentality.
I remember some people in front of us in the grandstand as well were doing the Sharks like spirit fingers thing to help it go through.
All right,
I'll try anything. I'm very superstitious.
I'll convert to anything. If it means Tigers will win.
It's hard to rank moments, but that's a season defining win. You know, like we go 4-4 now into Magic Round and can catapult our season. You know, so from that perspective, great. But we definitely still got a lot of work to do. But the one thing you can't coach or find is guys that are willing to fight for each other and play for each other. And I thought they showed that in spades tonight.
Yeah, definitely the fight. That's the big thing that this team gives me so much confidence going into each game is they just. Even when we're down on the scoreboard, we've had comeback wins against the Finns. Who else did we come back against? There was another team
this year.
Is that the only game we've?
That's the only game we've come back in.
I've only got one example, but they do not give up this team, even when they're down. Whereas in previous years, we were prone to heads. If we didn't score first, we were stuffed. Sort of thing. But this team, it's the fight, especially in defense. Like stop it. We've obviously talked about it so much already, but like stopping the Sharks scoring in Golden Point, just these extra efforts from players. And it's the same, a lot of it is not necessarily new players that have come along this year. It's the players, your bullers, your safe halves, your twirls and stuff. I mean, Twirly's always been a defensive juggernaut, but just these extra 1%ers, and I've said it in previous years on this show, it's that 95% were there, but it was just those little 1%ers that we weren't doing. It's just that little moments that we'd let games slip. And it seems like the culture now has just completely flipped that. And I just have so much more confidence in this team going into a game and just getting everything right.
Yeah.
Not everything. That's probably unrealistic. Not everything, but
Still missing a lot of the 1%ers, which obviously with a young and inexperienced
but not at the rate
team.
that we were.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially defensively, I mean, our edges.
And new signings have fixed up
Yeah.
a lot of those things. There's still the odd one. I think it was it round 1 against the Knights, or it was either round 1 or round 4 out of Campbelltown, where Talon De Silva gets into position to receive an offload from a position where he was out of the play for that particular play. And instead of, obviously he was the hooker on at the time because Appy was off, and he didn't put himself in a position to be able to run in to get the play of the ball as opposed to being there ready to accept an offload. And because he accepted the offload, the penalty was blown against us and we lost possession, and we were trying to ruck it out of our own end then too. So there are still a lot of those moments that the team has to get right. They'll learn from doing a lot of the time. That's the harshest way to learn, but they will learn from doing. But the new signings we've made have come in and fixed up a lot of those sort of mistakes. Obviously, Luai with the experience he's got. Terrell, while young, isn't all that experienced, but he's got the footy IQ and he's got the brain to make the right plays at the right moments too. So yeah, it's really good to see the improvement in that regard from the last couple of seasons, especially last year. They've still got a bit of a way to go in some regards, but the improvement has come on in leaps and bounds.
Righto, player ratings time. Thank you to all who submitted their player ratings and reviews. Matty, for your benefit, anyone, I've seen a few different names pop up in the chat too. So any new listeners, what we do, we put out a Google form at the end of each game. You rate each player out of 10. I take the averages of all those votes, and that ends up with something like this on the screen now. So each player gets an average score for the round. So yeah, you can see it on Az's laptop there. He's got a much size doesn't matter, Az, but your screen is much bigger than my puny little MacBook here. But
I also go full screen. You can't do that.
Yes, correct. That's what I tell my wife. So averages this week: Dream Buller 8.6, Sunia Taruva 8.6, Adam Dwayhe 8.0, Stafford Toa 7.6, Brent Naden 7.3, Lockie Galvin 7.3, Jerome Luai 7.7, Terrell May 9.8.
Wow.
There must have been one person who didn't give him
one
the 10.
or two who didn't give him the 10.
I can look up the spreadsheet and
Name and shame.
Name and shame who didn't give him a 10. I don't think we've ever I don't think we've ever had a 10.0.
We have not.
before.
No,
This has
never.
Yeah, I don't remember a 9.9.
I think I'd have to say this is probably the highest. I think the highest I can remember off the top of my head since we started doing this was maybe about a 9.3 or a 9.4. So this is uncharted territory for sure.
Fanua Bole 8.4, Appy Coruscant 8.3. The back rows, Samuela got 8.1, Alex Safar 7.0. Alex 12, 7.7. Talon De Silva, who scored a great try, obviously, 7.6. Royce Hunt, 8.1, which might be his highest this year. Jack Bird, 7.5. And Sione Fainu, who was fantastic off the bench as well. So it's definitely, in terms of the bench, might be the highest numbers we've seen. Obviously, a big win, numbers are always inflated across the board. But in terms of the bench, that seems like the biggest numbers we've seen, probably average across the bench. They were fantastic.
Yeah, Royce Hunt especially. I'm just going to say massive loss to not have him there in the Parramatta game. Him coming off that back fence in that second half when the opposition, their defense is a little bit tired, and he just carries it for us forward. It starts our sets really, really well. I think that made a massive difference in the game against Cronulla. And also just he's become a bit of a cult hero, especially at Leichhardt, because you're so close to the action, and the fence is not that far back, so he can literally come off literally the back fence. He's like right back there, and I think the cheer he gets, I think that sort of rev up for a crowd, I think that massively carries the team. And well, you saw it. We started the second half so well, and it was moments like that really spurred him on, I think. So full credit to Royce Hunt.
As how good was Sione? Sione might be. Would you say it was his best game yet? Sione, he was fantastic.
Yeah, I'd have to say it probably was his best game. He was fantastic. Just not all the minutes in the world, but really great output. Defensively, he was rock solid as well.
5% of the game, he was hit up.
Yeah,
Obviously, he had the ball strip.
He was the player who had the ball stripped.
Had the ball stripped as well. That was his second run of the set. Sorry, I'm just looking up to see how many people didn't give it 10.
Absolutely love the Finey brothers, eh?
Tell you what, though, overall, having the lowest score be 7 across the entire team, and I feel like that, even for Seyfarth, is a little bit unders. I feel like
I think Riff's in the comments too. He's not going to be happy at Seyfarth.
Most of the players, I would say 8s at the very least. It was one of those major team efforts where you can't really fault anyone. I think even Lachlan Galvin being a 7.3, that major try-saving tackle he made right under the sticks near the end of the game.
Also, great try assist as well. I'd have him higher. I'd put him probably in 8.1, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Like, Jareem Buller probably could have been up there for a 9. He made a lot of massive try-saving plays as well. I think Sunir Taruva absolutely put the effort in defensively too. There are just massive team effort. You can't really single out a single person for a bad game because they all played out of their skins, and they had to because it was an 88-minute game.
Yeah, it was a long game of footy.
So 5 9s. There were 5 9s for Terrell May.
Out of how many?
31. So Richard, Brent. Oh, hang on. There's a couple of our Patreon members in here. Richard, Brendan, Shane, Michael, and Phil. Come on, man. 9 out of 10 for Terrell May.
Phil Rogers is even in the chat.
Phil, our man over there in London.
I gave him a 9. Sorry.
Maybe the conversion rate is a tariff. He tariffed him a point.
And Emmanuel F tells him to go stand in the corner.
Yeah, apart from that, any numbers that stand out for you guys? Obviously, Jareem Buller had a sensational game. You could probably push him towards a 9. Like, what would Jareem do? Anything worthy of getting him below that 9?
I think one thing I will be honest about with Jareem, I think since his shoulder injury, he's a little bit timid in defense compared to how he was defending. But I think that just comes with a little bit of confidence. I think he'll get that back. In no way saying he's a bad defender. I just think when it comes to really putting your body on the line, I think he really did that last year. And I think he's just a little bit not timid, not scared, but he's just off that little bit, off the mark a little bit, you know.
Probably still a little concerned about the shoulder.
100%. And, you know, coming back from a major injury like that where you've required surgery and whatnot, I think, you know.
It affected most of his preseason too. He probably might have tweaked it a little bit when he did that massive run that we saw in the Thrive or Survive doco too.
I think, what a weapon. I think a lot of it comes, just from match fitness and just getting your confidence back. So I think he'll be fine. But that's the only thing I'd say. That's probably a pretty fair rating for him. I thought Appy probably deserved a little bit more. I thought he was brilliant around the ruck. Really tired out there forwards. Just eyes up footy, like we always see with Appy. I think he really helped the forwards go forward. And found a lot of space around that ruck when their pack was tired. So full credit to Appy. I think he's an absolute weapon.
Absolutely. Penal Bole, an 8.4, a little bit low. He's been killing it ratings wise. Do you reckon Pole, in terms of his game, was he less so than the stand? He's set a high bar for this year.
Yeah, considering his start of the season, he has set a very high bar. I don't think he quite reached that this game, but it was still one of his better games for the season. I think, like I said, the whole team probably could deserve an extra maximum half point on their scores, considering the way they played, the way they hung in there to eventually come out with the win. But Fanua, great game, great season so far. Looking forward to seeing what more he has to offer for us this year.
So based on those numbers, that ends up going towards a 3-2-1 vote for this week. So based on your votes, May, I didn't even have to change May in the graphics. He's just every week just nailing the 3. Dream Buller second and Taruva, they were 0.01 apart, I believe. It wasn't because they got both 8.6s, but it was like literally, a hundredth apart.
Extra decimal points to
Extra
split
decimal
them.
point apart. So Dream just getting the 2 point over Sunia. Rob's this week, he did Terrell May 3 as well, Dream Buller at 2nd as well, but he threw Appy at number 1. So who are your 3-2-1s this week, Az?
Yeah, so I gave my 1 point to Lockie. Really good game for him to put everything from the last couple of weeks behind him and just go out there and do a job. Great try assist really early in the game to really shut the crowd who were still booing his touches here and there a little bit. Like you, I put out a bit of an impassioned plea last week on this podcast to kind of say, hey, look, it's Anzac round. Let's show some respect because it's obviously the occasion for it. Plus, we've got so many new players who are playing their first game for the club at the hallowed turf. So I thought he did really well to put everything behind him and just do a really good job. Like I said, he made that really solid tackle towards the end of the game that contributed to them eventually losing the ball basically right on full time when they had a couple of plays left up their sleeve to have another shot at the field goal from better range than the 47-meter miss not long before it. My 2 I gave to basically the same as Rob and the public, and same with the 3 as well. Buller, absolutely outstanding. Like I said, another game where he put himself on the line defensively in that particular play anyway to can help get the game to golden point. And then Terrell May, he's just an absolute beast. There's not much more we can say. He's doing the same thing week after week after week.
Off the top of your head, Matty, I'll get you to get a 3-2-1 as well. Sorry, Az, we'll both cut you off there.
Oh, and I was just going to say, and I think we're seeing from his vlogs as well how he's going about his recovery with the pool at home and everything like that as well. He's really priding himself on getting himself right to go for the next game as soon as possible. And I think with what he's doing at home in those vlogs and at training with his vlogs as well, I think it's really putting into perspective what lengths he's going to keep himself on track for the following game, even after knocking out the minutes that he does.
Matty, you have 3-2-1?
Yeah. I'm going to go actually 1 to Talent to Silver. I think to come on, he knows he's not the number 9, but he really takes control when he comes on, and to get a try and to just really eyes up footy. I thought from him with that try, he just saw the opportunity and got the perfect bounce, and what a try it was, you know.
And
also, he should get the 1 point at the line for just the.
He kind of half volley towed it.
Yeah.
It was brilliant,
and it's just a brilliant pickup. And I thought for Anzac Day, Anzac round, sorry. Perfect post try celebration with the salute. And
yeah, I love that.
And yeah, I just thought it was just so cold. What a cold photo. And he deserves a 1 point just for that alone. My 2, I'm actually going to give to. Yeah, it's hard for me to go past Buller. I thought he was just great again. Especially just meter eater out of danger constantly throughout the game. Really got us on the front foot when we could have easily been kept in our end. And yeah, I think just the only thing I could follow him on was a little bit of lapses in defense, but that just comes with probably the shoulder injury like we talked about. So I'll give him 2 points, and then 3, of course, the beast,
the Terminator,
the absolute beast, Terrell May. The Terminator, what a weapon, just a weapon. And in my opinion, I know we're only, 8 rounds in, but in my opinion, one of the greatest signings Tigers have ever made.
So. We've got him for 3 years.
Yeah.
How lucky are we?
How good.
I know Clark, shouts Clarky in the socials. He does like a power rankings of the signings this year.
He's number 1 right now.
Number 1. He hasn't moved out.
I think he might have started a little bit lower, but once we won a couple of games, he definitely climbed up, and he has not left that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Speaking of number 1 spot, he's on 53 points already after what's 8 9s, 8 9, 8 72. So 53 out of 72 possible points for Terrell this year. Buller's second on 25. Overtook Bole on 22, and then it's Lockie on 8. Star and Appy on 7. Skelton and Taruva on 6, and then a couple others trailing behind. Righto.
I don't remember what score Lockie Galvin got last year at the end when he won this little award of ours, but I have a feeling Terrell May is going to have absolutely crushed it by the end of the season.
Absolutely. Righto, and some of your best rants from the player rating form as well. Chris said, should have never got to extra time, but once we found ourselves there in the last bit of regular time, we really dug in. That game last year, we get run down with 10 to go and lose by 18 points. Really pleased to see the guts and determination from the boys. Richard said, Dream Ball is becoming a superstar. All the little things like kick chases, etc., are coming together. His voice at the back is growing, and his defensive desperation that we've seen early in his career is back. David G says, my Garmin tells me my heart rate hit 138 in the midst of the game. Is that healthy, right? That's actually fine. That's actually, I mean, turns out you are 220 minus your age.
Joys of being a Tigers fan, eh? I'm only 32 and I've already got a lot of grey hairs, and I consider it stress related from supporting the Tigers.
Kim R said, great game. Our defense on our try line and scramble was what won us the game. Our attack was better, but still room for improvement. Baller is getting better with each game. Just needs to roam a little around the middle for the offload like Teddy, and this will take him to the next level. Keep winning, boys, and Galvin might stay after all. And then on to our $20 OG voucher winners. Was Shane you or Rob? Rob. So Rob picked Shane Tremble. Shane, if you're out there, slide into our DMs. We'll tell you how to claim your $20 Orange Grove voucher. If you want to, that'll buy you a few schooners if you want to come Saturday night. He said, without doubt, the best performance from a Tigers team in the last 4 years. Goal line defense was absolutely outstanding. So many inspirational performances, but Appy, Terrell, and Dream led the way. Lockie wasn't perfect, but his try saver on Hazleton saved the game. The media bullshit around Benji is dead. No one who watched that game could have any doubt that this team was giving their all for the coach and the jersey. Beautiful. And then, absolutely, as you picked, Rollo.
Yeah, so Rollo said, I've heard and read lots of thoughts after this emotionally stirring victory at West Tigers' spiritual home. However, I don't think the fans understand the significance of what had occurred. We witnessed the changing of the club's DNA forever. There was a multitude of reasons to lose, but something none of us could see wouldn't let that happen. The performance had the mentality, state of origin or grand final teams. When the going gets tough, the Tigers get tougher.
That's a good one. I love that. I enjoy that. A good pick there.
Absolutely loved it, and like echoed a sentiment that I had entirely. Just the way this club is fighting in games is completely different to how like you said earlier, Josh, how the team of the last few seasons could have thrown in the towel and rolled over and let the game get away from them, but not this team.
Yep. Rollo, slide into our DMs on any of the socials or email podcast@westlife.com and I'll pass it on to the OG so you can come pick up your $20 voucher. Thank you to everyone who entered, and I'll send it out again Saturday night at the conclusion of the Dragons game as well, which we'll preview right now. Do you want to run us through the team list as the West Tigers take on the Dragons at 7:45 Saturday night at Suncorp Stadium?
All right, so fullback is Jareem Buller, Sinia Taruva and Brent Naden are on the wings with Adam Dewey and Stafford Toa in the centres. Lachlan Galvin and Jerome Luai are our halves. Terrell May and Fanua Bole are the front rowers with Appy Coruscant at hooker. Samuel Afenu and Alex Seyfarth are the second rowers with Alex Twal at lock. Talon De Silva, Royce Hunt, Jack Bird, and Sione Fainu make up the bench. Tony Suka is 18th man. The rest of our reserves are Heath Mason, Kit Lauli'i, Solomona Fa'atape, and Tristan Hope.
Matty, why change a winning team, hey?
That's it. I love seeing the consistency from bench. It's good that we're finally keeping fit. No suspensions, especially heading into Magic Round where it's suspension galore. This
a $1,000 fine for the tickle by Fanua Bole, I think, was it as?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Still bullshit. He's got to be annoyed. $1,000 fine he'd have to be annoyed with, let alone the sin bin.
Well,
please.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy they can fine players to begin with money.
It should be
for an accident.
It should be a percentage. If you're a player that's on 150K, losing $5,000 is huge compared to a player that's 1.2. It should be
it should.
I don't know what percentage
it should cap
be.
though. Like
What?
the value should cap though. Like you can't. A $1.2 million player shouldn't be charged. Like say it's 10%. I don't.
100 grand.
Well,
It
what
has
if it's
to be
10%?
capped.
I don't know, a week, just 152nd, maybe. I don't know, one. Maybe
Well,
half a week, half a week paid
they
for
do that with
140.
weighting. I mean, the more offences you have of a similar nature in a certain time period, the higher your fine is for like the same charge.
I just think it's crazy that an employee can.
Doc. And where does the money go?
An employer can talk money.
That's what I'd love to know. Where the hell is the NRL putting all this money they get from all these fines?
Yeah, Peter Landis's pocket.
Trips to Vegas.
Yeah, probably the Vegas trips. That's where it's going. Yeah, I don't know. I just find it weird. If someone drops a glass here, one of the bartenders drops a glass here, they're not going to take money out of their pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. It's an accident. Most of these things are. All of these things are accidents. I don't think any player's going out there with the intention to hurt another player or to.
Except for Joseph Suaalii in Game 1 of State of Origin last year.
Good on him. Good on him. Fuck Reece Walsh.
That's one of the only instances I can really think of where the player clearly had intent to hurt, because that was just
Who
bad.
did the knees for the Bulldogs?
Tupanua. I can't
he's-
believe that didn't get sin binned.
Well, yeah, he's got a.
They're not.
big
He didn't get
suspension
binned for
coming
that.
game.
I didn't watch
No,
that game.
and then so that was the first like play or second play of the set. They get a penalty for it. Then immediately,
there was a penalty against the Dogs.
yeah, and then immediately after that, very next play after the kick for touch, Marcelo Montoya gets sent to the bin for something considerably more innocuous.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
the
but he
Marcelo
definitely
Montoya,
needs
He needed a guy in the head on purpose. Like,
yeah,
it's a blatant.
the Marcelo
play
Montoya sin
towards-
bin was made to make up for the fact that Sicily Tupanua didn't get sent to the bin or sent off for that second offence.
He's doing a UFC move, like in the middle of the rugby league game. It's disgusting.
What's his suspension?
5 to 7 weeks for
5 to 7
that's for the two combined.
When do we play the Dogs?
Long way away.
Okay.
Round 22.
So what did he end up getting?
I'm pretty sure it took the early guilty pleas.
Oh,
So 5, yeah.
Yeah, well, he wasn't going to get off from that. No.
Nah.
No.
No way. That was the lesser charge though. The one he actually went to the bin for was the 3 to 4 week charge.
Oh,
So that high tackle or the shoulder
so that's
charge.
charge for the knees.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Something ain't right. That's crazy.
All right, Az, do you want to run us through the Dargans?
Sure can. So at fullback is Clinton Gutherson, Terrell Sloan, and Corey Allen are the wingers, with Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes at centre. Kyle Flanagan is in the halves, along with Laikian King Togia, who has replaced Ilias, I think it was.
Lachlan Ilias, yeah.
Toby Couchman and David Clemmer are their front rowers, with Damien Cook at hooker. Dylan Egan and Jaden Sewer are the second rows, with Hamish Stewart at lock. Jacob Little, Jack DeBellin, Emre Gula, Luciano Leilua are their bench. Loco Pacifici Tonga is their 18th man. Nathan Lawson, Blake Laurie, Lachlan Ilias, and Raymond Faitala Mariner are the rest of their reserves. Geez, quite a bunch of ex-Tigers in this lineup.
I was just about to say that. Actually.
You could Lachlan Ilias, you could throw in to that mix as well.
Sully, Clem, Lids,
Leeds.
Luch.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this. I'm not always 100% confident, but yeah, how you looking at the Dragons side, Matty?
Look, that's the thing with this year. It's just crazy. You know, you don't know, especially a team like the Dragons. 1 week they're playing phenomenal. The next week they're getting flogged by a team they probably should beat. You know,
The second last place Roosters.
well, yeah. Look, Roosters always lift on Anzac Day. I sort of saw that coming. But yeah, and that scares me too going into this, because it's like, does that fire them up now? You know, there was obviously the big decision to drop Ilias. So there's obviously added pressure on the team to win, to prove the coach right.
Especially when you're the coach's son.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Nepotism.
Yeah, it's crazy. That is it. Yeah, that's an added element there. But look, I think the Tigers proved last week on Sunday that they're a different team this year. We're not a team that you know, I think in the past we'd let a team sort of come out against us and use us to sort of get back in form, sort of fodder. And I just don't think we're that this year. I think we put the foot on their throats, and and we own Magic Round once again. We've had a pretty good record up there when it comes to Magic Round. I will be up there, so they'll have the extra added support of Matty G on the sideline.
Well, put us down for 30.
You got to be in the Tigers fan bay, or
I'm actually not. I was going to go up for the whole weekend. I decided against it, and then I decided not to go at all. And then I got mad FOMO, so I decided I really want to go up just for the Tigers game now for the Saturday. So it was actually sold out, and I got an accessible seating seat, which they have there. It's not like a wheelchair seat; it's just a seat like that's near bathrooms and stuff. And I just said I have irritable bowel syndrome, even though it's a lie. So
They know now.
that's a little trick for you guys. Just lie, and you can get a seat to a sold out.
I often nearly shit myself watching the West Tigers when they play.
Don't we all?
Well, yeah, so,
We should all be near toilets.
You'll need accessible seating.
Randomizer said Toa to give Val a bath in Suncorp. Yeah, it's a big matchup.
Yeah, he's done.
Val, yeah.
What a great day at Leichhardt that was. We'll never forget that one.
Forget about the night.
Yeah.
Same year in Townsville.
Five weeks later, we don't mention that one.
I was there
Were you?
in Townsville.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh
I
gosh.
met at Magic Round, so I went up there. That was just after that Magic Round. And he said, "Oh, come up to watch the game." And I said, "Yeah, righto, we'll come." And then obviously we flogged them. So I'm going up there thinking, "No, it's going to be another good." Like I don't think it's going to be a win like that, but it'll be. I reckon we'll beat them. And then that was the hardest thing to get through.
Yep.
And they play this song. I don't know if you know. Do you know the Cowboys song? It's like the Cowboys are my team, and it's my. Anyway, so they played that after their win, and I thought when I left the stadium, I thought, "Thank God, I never have to hear that again." And then I went to the Mad Cow. It's the first song that was playing as soon as I walked in. There, I thought, "Oh."
I'm almost as bad as drove all the way from Orange for the Roosters game.
The flogging. At
SCG. Yeah, that was a very, very rough night. I tell you what, the worst thing a team does when they score usually is the Broncos who do the pull the arms down, the same, which is the same song they play like in the ad breaks at darts, and it makes a lot more sense at the darts, but doing it at the NRL, it's absolutely stupid. And every try as well.
You can't make it too complicated for Queensland. Yeah, I went to our game there in 2023.
That game was the day I moved up to Sydney.
There you go. Yeah, I flew up there for that one, and that song. I'm trying to think what it's called. Chance something. Rather, someone will tell me in the comments.
Yeah, someone in the comments will know it.
I hate it so much.
There's nothing more irritating than a song for another team, like and then rubbing it in.
Yeah, you don't want other people to.
It was like
Speaking of awful team songs, I think the worst by far is the Roosters.
We are the Roosters.
Yeah, that one.
Up Cronulla, I quite like. Obviously not.
I despise that.
No, I don't mind. I think up Cronulla is. I envy them for having a kind of old cheesy song like that.
Actually,
Glory. I hate the South Sydney, but I kind of envy them. They do have that.
That's one of the better ones.
Yeah,
we really should go back to this. We should really just go back to Eye of the Tiger. It's so good for the Tigers.
I agree,
but it doesn't have that. Like the AFL, obviously do it the best. Like every team's got their kind of old 100-year-old kind of chant that they have. As obviously been a new, like Tigers and Magpies have theirs as well. But we obviously, I guess Eye of the Tiger is the equivalent that we have there.
Although I do love that we're running out to Welcome to the Jungle now.
Yeah.
Instead, I think
I do enjoy that.
A better run out song than Eye of the Tiger. I think Eye of the Tiger is a better winning
victory
song.
song.
Eye of the Tiger for the win. Yeah, run out to Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
We did that for the away team a few years ago. We were doing that for the visitors. They'd be running out to Welcome to the Jungle.
We should do that.
Which kind of makes sense.
Silence now.
We should do like joke ones for the opposition, like Puff the Magic Dragon. The Dragons. Yeah.
I do like Souths doing
for the Panthers. Or
I do like Souths doing the Empire March from Star Wars for their opposition. I think that's a nice touch.
Oh, yeah.
The villains.
Yep. Yeah, I wish they'd blow up like the Death Star. But right, our tips for this week. First game of Magic Round is Sharkies versus who are they playing as?
Eels.
Eels.
That's a scummy team.
We've all gone Sharkies. How are you feeling about this one? Matty G?
I think. I'm not going to fucking tip Para. So Sharks.
Yeah, Moses, they're fresh off the bye, and Sharkies obviously, will they bounce back or will they spiral out of control? Will be the test. And only a 6-day, tough for them, 6-day turnaround to fly up there.
Five for the Sharks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's Sunday to Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Para do win this one, but
I wouldn't be surprised either. I think they'll have a lot of support up there as well. Parramatta.
They're the ones whinging.
I tell you what, it's a bloody close round. Like you look at the odds for a lot of these games, a lot of the lines. There's only 2 lines that are more than like 4.5.
There's only $3, a couple of $3 plus.
No, there's only one
$100,
team that's more than $3, and
How good.
and that's the Titans.
Yeah,
that's the Titans as well. So
the gripe that I have with Magic Round, I was thinking of this today, is it's kind of annoying that we're burning a Dragons game for Magic Round. Like, could we not have Sydney teams play non-Sydney teams?
Yeah, especially when it's Western and St. George. Like,
too big.
The mergers.
Yeah, we would sell out Leichhardt or Campbelltown for a Dragons
100%.
game.
Yeah.
So I wish we kind of played Titans.
and it's the only time we play them as well.
Even if we played the Dolphins. Did we do the Dolphins last year?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and we lost. Yeah. But we beat them this year, baby. Let's go.
Hey, RB's in the comment. Good on you, Mr. Bashara. He's obviously hope dinner went well. Second game is the Finns. Speaking of the Finns, they are playing against the Chookies, where Rob's gone the Roosters, as and I've gone the Dolphins. I just think, I don't know, Suncorp. The Roosters are coming off, obviously, a big win over the Dragons, but
I'm expecting a bounce back from the Dolphins. Like their second half against Canberra was diabolical.
Yeah.
Agree. They'll have so much support there. I'm going to go Dolphins as well.
Moving on to the Rabbitohs. We've all gone Rabbitohs against the Knights.
I think I'm actually going to. I'm likely to change my tip for this one.
I'm in a tipping comp with my family. I did my tips with my son tonight, and I think in my other comp I actually did tip Knights because I didn't realize that Latrell. Well, I forgot that Latrell was out.
Yeah, like that's the thing for me as well, because I have to send you these on Tuesday so you can get the slides done. I don't really get a lot of time to think about them. So, and then when I'm
about 10 seconds,
and then in my other tipping comps, I always tend to just go for the same tip. So I go on the podcast just to keep it simplistic, and it's cost me a few times. I did absolutely poorly in the local pub tipping comp last year. So yeah, this one is one where I think I'm potentially going to change my tip, because I think the Knights need a response, and with all of the outs for the Souths, I think this is their best chance to get one. It's neutral territory, obviously. No team is really going to have oodles of support. They'll have their fans in their bays and a few scattered here and there, but being a neutral ground, I think if the Knights are going to buck this losing skid they've got, this is the best chance they're going to have in a while to get it done.
Yeah, completely agree. I've got Knights actually. I just think they finally snap this losing streak, and Souths without Latrell, and also Souths have not been that crash hot the last couple of weeks. So
I hate to see it.
Yeah,
I hate South. Sorry,
I hate
South. Yeah. Anything South and Para.
Souths and Para are my most hated teams for sure.
Yeah,
and Manly. Hate Manly.
Yeah, Manly. I don't. As a kid, I hated them because they won everything, and I grew up in the Central Coast, so there was, for some reason, there were a lot of Manly fans up there, and then the Northern Eagles, obviously, as well. So I did hate them as a kid, but I don't know. They're not as in your face as Parramatta and South fans. I just can't. All our listeners have heard me say that 1,000 times.
It's hard to not have a bit of a soft spot for the Knights as well, considering they also went through what we've been through in the last 3 years with the three consecutive spoons.
Again, when you grow up north and you're surrounded by a lot of and again in the 90s they were really good,
and the early 2000s as well.
When you're surrounded by a lot of their fans and they're doing well and your team's shit, then it's
got to give credit to
I
their
don't
fan
mind
base
that.
a lot though for sticking by the team with what they've all been through. Like, I'd say
There's also
two
city
most
one.
loyal fan bases are the Tigers and the Knights.
Yeah, but the Knights are unique. Them and Canberra are unique in that they're one city. The whole city is one team. So if you live in the Newcastle or the Hunter region, which is like a few 100,000 people that live in the Hunter, then you're more than likely going to
Hunter stretches a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you can go out to your Cessnox and up to I mean, you can. I'm sure there's plenty of Knights fans that go right up to like Port Macquarie, Coffs Harbour, right up the North Coast as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, when people say, "Oh, the Knights are so loyal," you kind of more than likely they're going for their local team. Whereas if you're a fan of a Sydney club, like Az and I live closer to Parramatta than we do like you don't necessarily live and go for your local team anymore. We all have, I don't know where you're based, but
Yeah, I'm in the Hawkesbury area, so I travel
so you're
far and wide.
Panthers territory?
Yes, yeah. Penrith, local junior footy is all Penrith comp, which I also just want to make this point. Any Panthers fan who's complaining about having to go to Combank for home games this year, you were never a fan.
It's 20 minutes down the M4.
Literally, that's
It's
what I've been
20 minutes down the
saying,
M4.
Like, it's literally, if you can't get in your car drive 20 minutes down the M4, you're not a real fan. You never were. You're a bandwagoner.
Public transport is easy for that too. It's just hop on the train at Penrith
Literally.
and jump off at Parramatta
Get an
and
express. It's
walk.
fucking one stop.
I went to Aqua Golf last weekend and took me 30 minutes from Homebush. Like, it's not far.
Not far at all. Like, and he's asked, we've got to go Leichhardt and Campbelltown, and we've even playing a home game at Allianz, and then we've got Combank. Like,
Come on, Panthers
come on,
fans.
Panthers
Get in your
fans.
Mitsubishi Sigma
You know?
and drive up that freeway.
My team just gave me 4 premierships. I'd travel interstate for them every week.
Just sucks. Right, do we do Warriors Cowboys yet?
Not
I
yet.
saw that.
Sorry for that rant. Just had to
No,
get it off
that's
my
what
chest.
we're all about rants here.
Especially living in that area.
we
I
love
hate
it.
seeing it, you know? I'm like, God.
Yeah,
What's the most I've got to Combank this year? 12,000? Useless, mate. Useless.
yeah. Well, can we really claim the Eagles fans on Easter? I guess not. But I guess we'll see later in the
Our home
season.
Game. Let's go.
Warriors Cowboys. Who did we tip?
all three of us have tipped the Cowboys.
Cows.
I think other than our game, I think this is potentially the second best game of the round this week.
I agree. I think it's going to be awesome. You're going to get a mad atmosphere there too, because I know a lot of our fans are coming over for it. There's a lot already here as
big
well.
Kiwi population in
Brisbane,
Queensland.
yes,
as well,
100%. So I think you'll get a massive supporter base from both sides there for that game. I've gone Cows as well.
Both of these teams are really high up on the ladder too. You've got both of them had their first bye. The Warriors are on 12 points. The Cowboys are on 10. So it's a really close game in that regard too, with a lot to play for in regards to, I mean, I know it's still early season, but when you're playing the teams around you on the ladder and you're jostling for spots in different parts of the ladder, really crucial games like this are important. So it's like the 4th place Warriors, the 6th place Cowboys, really good game. This has potential to be a really, really, really freaking good game.
Yeah.
Tigers, Robert Shara's tipped the Tigers.
He's not emotionally hedging this week. It's great.
I love that.
2 weeks ago, he said, I'll never tip him again.
This was after he committed a couple of weeks before that to never emotionally hedge again as well. Rob's tipping has just been a roller coaster.
That's so funny.
I'll be very disappointed we don't win this. I feel like we are favourites
We started off when odds were released. Like, odds are usually released about a week and a half before the round actually starts. And we started as about, I think, 260 outsiders. And after Anzac Day, we came into about 240. Yeah. And after our game, we've now come into favoritism, which I think is absolutely bonkers. But I mean, hey.
And you would have liked to have got that happened to me. I got on us early against who did we win against 2 weeks ago?
Newcastle.
When
we were massive, we were massive underdog when odds were released for that.
$2. I got on us at $2.70.
Yeah,
something, and then we
ended up being favourites, or just the outsiders.
Nearly even money. Yeah. So that was good. So Raiders and Dolphins, is that right?
You missed a couple
one.
of games there.
No, sorry, Titans Dogs. We've all gone Doggies, but they did lose last week.
They did. I think they're going to really have a bit of a bounce back here too. Obviously, they've lost a few players, Tupanua, Burton, and Curran. 3 big outs for them, but I think the bounce back factors will be enough to get them over the line here. They're the heaviest favourite of the week, and I find it hard to see them losing 2 in a row, considering their start of the season. The Titans, I'm not convinced by the Titans at all. I think they're a genuine chance for bottom 4 at the moment with how they're going. Way too inconsistent for their own good. Like you look at the win they pulled off against the Knights at home in round 3, I think it was. How good they looked then, but how poor they've looked for most of the games they've played since.
Yeah, the way they fell asleep against Canberra too after leading by quite a lot.
They led 16-0, didn't they?
Yeah, and then just fell apart. I think Doggies absolutely clean up Gold Coast. I think it's going to be a big win.
Broncos, we've tipped. Who are they playing?
Penrith.
Playing the Riff. We've all gone Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to go Broncos as well.
This is the first time I've tipped against Penrith all season. They are the only team that cost me the perfect round last week, and I figured I can't keep believing in them to get it right anymore. But now that I've tipped against them, this is going to be the week where they get it right, because that's always how it happens.
And Storm are playing the Raiders.
Yeah, game of the round to close out Magic Round. This is going to be an absolute friggin' belter.
Raiders.
These 60, not bad value.
These two teams have had a massive rivalry over the years. The Raiders are the only team that seem to be able to beat the Storm fairly consistently, especially down in Melbourne. They are so good at playing Melbourne down in Melbourne. But this one being on neutral,
Melbourne might have requested to play them.
Maybe. Well, they might have requested. They might have requested to play Parramatta again, because I think they've scored like 130 points in two Magic Round clashes against Parramatta. So, but yeah, this game, I think this should have been the 4 o'clock game, the free-to-air game. This is going to be an absolute blockbuster. I think I'm backing Melbourne in just because it's Melbourne, and I think while it's not technically a home ground for them, most of their team are Queenslanders anyway, so it's as good as.
Shouts to Shane Cowart too. He's out. I've got the table this week. He's 4 points out in front in our
absolutely
Patreon.
crushing it again.
Yeah,
he's our defending champion.
Is he?
Yeah,
he knows ball.
He does.
He knows. Just doesn't know how to put a bet on sports bet.
He got 7 last week as well. I wonder what the one wrong he got was. Shane, if you're in the comments still, can you tell us what your wrong tip was last week?
On to lower grades. Broncos. Magpies lost to the Jets in the Tommy Raudonikis Cup, I think they call it, when the Jets play the Magpies. 18-6, they lost in that one. They're down second last on the table. They are playing the Dragons on Sunday at 2:15. So get out to Lickham Oval and see, cheer on our New South Wales Cup boys in the Lisa Fiaola. The girls, unfortunately, lost their prelim to the Central Coast Roosters. So that's officially all our junior teams done for the year. They lost 22-16, unfortunately, to the Chooks. So no grand final, unfortunately, for those girls. As I forgot to do Jersey Flag again, would you be able to get the Jersey Flag score up if you can?
Sure can.
And then we'll go on to Statsman as well. Have you ever been to Lickham Oval? You said your dad was big on Lickham Oval.
Yeah, I have been there for some pathways footy. Yeah,
it's a good day out. Get a sausage. My son quite likes getting a sausage sandwich. We sit there and
I love that Magpies are playing
hill
there again now.
Yeah.
Like that sort of shifted again. A few years ago now.
A bit of funding to do it up as well.
But yeah, Dad. My dad always talks about how he used to go there in the back of Pop's ute. No seatbelts, just in the back tray, and with all his mates that all just stand there. And
I like park. Because you park In Newtown you can.
They used to just drive there like that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm pretty sure in Newtown you used to be able to park. You can park at Henson Park.
So you can watch. From
Yeah,
the
I
car.
quite
that's
like
cool.
the idea of sitting in a car.
I do love that. I love that. There's
footy.
still quite a few junior footy grounds around, especially Penrith Comp area that you can drive your car up and watch it from the car, especially if it's rainy and that,
Yeah,
stay dry.
or if you've got a ute, chuck the seat in the back.
Yeah, it's perfect
as well. Yeah, I do that.
Esky.
I do that at Eastern Creek Raceway with the watch the racing, pull up, back up the car and sit on the boot and watch.
Yeah, it's
racing.
perfect.
As Jersey Flag.
Yep. So Jersey Flag, tough loss for them on the weekend, 46-20 to the Sharks as well. They also play the Dragons at Lidcombe, 12 o'clock on Sunday. We're 7th. The Dragons are 11th.
Okay, so maybe the Flag boys were going to win for us there. Right, as your stats man of this week, you've got might be the only podcast doing a magic round ladder.
Yeah, maybe. So I did this up last year for Magic Round, updated it after the games last year, and I think I showed it. I might have read it out on the stream after Magic Round last year. But yeah, so this is the teams that have been the most successful throughout the course of Magic Round. The Rabbits have been the most successful team by 1 point of differential over the Broncos. No team other than the Dolphins is undefeated in Magic Round. The Dolphins are the only team. Well, they're 2 from 2. Every other team has played either 4 or 5. The Knights and the Dragons have played 4. Every other team has played 5. So I haven't given bye points or anything for Magic Round. I've just left it as is. We are the 7th best Magic Round team. 6 points, so 3 wins and 2 losses. Fun fact: both of our losses were against Queensland teams. So the Cowboys and Dolphins playing the Queensland teams at Magic Round has not worked in our favour. So good that we're not playing a Queensland team this year. We are playing the Dragons, who are by far the worst Magic Round team, along with the Bulldogs. They are the only two who haven't got a win in this event yet, and I think this is probably the year the Bulldogs managed to turn that around, because they're going a lot better now than they were in previous seasons. But yeah, so anyone who, I'm not going to read the whole thing out, but yeah, that's how it looks. There's a whole bunch of teams who are 3 wins from previous Magic Rounds, then a whole bunch on 2 wins, a couple teams on 1 win. I mean, the Eagles being one of the 2 teams on 1 win, I'm really not surprised, considering every Magic Round so far until this year, obviously, because they've got the bye, they've played the Broncos as the home team. So they've had the tough draw for pretty much the entirety of the Magic Round run so far. And then I like seeing Eels down there near the bottom as well. That's a fun sight.
No matter, always want Eels towards the bottom.
I also had one more thing I wanted to bring up. This was a tweet by NBWT on X earlier in the week, or after the game, where he says West Tigers have scored 20 plus points in 7 straight games for the first time since 2016.
Jeez.
So it's been a while since we've been able to consistently put points on the board. And it's great to see that we've finally found a little bit of that attacking form again.
Yeah, wow.
God, I wasn't even married. I was in my 20s. Jesus, 2016.
round 14 to 22 in 2016 was the last time we scored 20 plus points in 7 consecutive games.
It's a good stat in BWT.
Yeah, very good stat. I want to give a quick shout out
to a couple
of boys.
Shout away.
A couple of boys that I met earlier this year at the trial game here at Leichhardt. But in particular, Coben, who made the.
I think he was in the comments before, actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. So he made the drum. He made a drum.
You mentioned his drum.
Oh, really? Yeah. I just read a message from him that he sent me on Instagram. He said he wanted a shout out, so I'll give him a shout out. But his drum's awesome. It lights up, has the Tigers logo on it, and tell you what, it brought the vibe on the hill the other night, and I love to see that. I love to see it brings culture.
I think I spoke to him. Shout out to anyone who saw our post-game video this week. The mic stuffed up for a few of them, so I think I did speak to him, and the microphone wasn't working when I was speaking to him, unless there's another person with the drum.
There was a couple of boys, but the same group of boys, so it would have probably been him, I would assume. But yeah, a bunch of legends.
Yeah, plug all your stuff. We're finishing up now. I'll plug our Patreon, patreon.com/WestsLife. Get in there for a few bucks a month. Yeah, we're going to record might get RB on the blower as well to join us. All our regulars kind of get on, and we have a bit of a Patreon only all in discussion with the boys, and that drops on the Patreon to anyone that's signed up on the Patreon. And a paid member will get that extra kind of episode. It's just literally us all shooting the SHIT after the show.
Speaking of Patreon, I'm just going to point out as well, Noons in the comments, he's been a very big fan of what's called the Fisherman's Basket in the Discord over the last couple of days.
I missed that.
We have completed the Fisherman's Basket by defeating all of the seafood teams. So the Eels, the Sharks, and the Dolphins.
I love it.
We were almost able to pull it off last year because we beat both the Eels and the Sharks in consecutive rounds, but we had 2 chances to beat the Dolphins and failed both times. So we've pulled it off this year. And yeah, so that the Fisherman's Basket, that's I don't know if that's original content by Noons, but either way, we've done it. We've got the Fisherman's Basket.
So let's just say it's original.
I'm trying to think what teams can you eat? I mean, you can technically eat horse, so maybe
you could probably eat most of the teams except the Storm.
Yeah, I don't want to eat a Cowboy.
Probably don't want to eat a Raider either.
Or a Raider, yeah, or some of the Raiders. You didn't really have a choice when it came to Raiders when they were a thing. But yeah, what other? Obviously a rooster, eating plenty.
Okay,
cooked chooks.
Also, I asked Shane in the comments earlier which team was the one he got wrong in his tips last week, and he said Penrith, so same as me. Same team cost him.
Another reason I hate him. Although I did have fun at Aqua Golf on the weekend.
Aqua Golf's all right.
It's good. Wish we had. That's one thing I do love, just to go on a tangent. You living out that way, is there are a lot of fun things to do with kids out that way.
Yeah.
As and I live not far from. We used to have putt in. What is it, Ermington or Rydalmere?
No, it's the Melrose Park.
It's what's called Melrose Park.
Down on the corner. Yeah, down on the
Victoria
corner there
Road
near
there.
the KFC.
Like,
absolutely loved it. Before I lived up here, or before it was destroyed. My family, we've always had a really competitive streak. Like the guys in our family have always had a really competitive streak when it comes to mini golf and stuff like that. And that probably is the course we attended the second most in the history of any mini golf courses we had attended at that point. It was fairly simple, fairly straightforward, but 3 courses, quality for your buck as well. And they ended up tearing it down to build all those friggin' high rises. Yeah. And I'm still to this day extremely disappointed by that fact.
There's just so much space out your way to have your aqua golfs, whereas we're just being surrounded by apartments. And
that Panthers just facility as a whole is great. It's fantastic. And you know what? I can't fault, say whatever you want about the team, but I can't fault what the club does for the community out there.
100%.
Massive props to Panthers for that.
For sure. Righto, enough compliments for the western suburbs, the greater west, or the foot of the mountain out there. Catch us on Saturday here at the Orange Grove Hotel. Come join us as we watch the Tigers take on the Dragons. If you can't make it, watch us on the stream as well. And then Adele and RB will break down the game on Sunday night. So expect that late Sunday night to drop as well. And then we'll be back here Wednesday to break down who we got next. Storm next week.
Storm in Melbourne.
Law, revenge.
Stefano. Revenge game.
And to any Tigers fan that aren't going to Magic Round, don't worry, I will have 1,200 beers for all of you.
Apart from seeing you at Magic Round, plug all your stuff.
To find me on Instagram or Facebook, it's Speak Free Podcast. There you can find my link tree with all the links to watch the episodes. So yeah,
beautiful.
Get amongst it.
All right. As always,
TikTok as well. Sorry.
TikTok, give us a follow on the TOC. It's crazy how quickly the TOC moves. We've gone from 0 to 700 and something followers within the first 8 rounds. So
awesome.
Shouts to everyone that's following us on the TOC.
I love it. The algorithm is just, if once you hit that, you hit that.
China's got all my data, but that's worth it.
That's all right. I'll sell my soul to China for
at least
Tigers win.
At least Trump doesn't have it.
All right, as always. Go
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the West Tigers Life podcast. You can join us every Wednesday night live at 8:30 p.m. from the Orange Grove Hotel. A big thank you to Orange Grove Hotel for their support, as well as iChoice Home Loans. If you want to hear more from the West Tigers Life podcast, go to westtigers.com.au. That'll be our link tree, and you'll find links to all our social media, and you can sign up at our Patreon at patreon.com/WestLife. Join us next time on West Tigers Life.